The Philippines is one of those countries many people assume is unsafe due to how it's portrayed in the media. As the saying goes, nothing in life is ever free. Don't show off your wealth. The Philippines has serious problems with poverty. But don't be surprised when your Filipino friends are only leaving their homes by the time you've gotten to your meeting place. Joining a rally can get you deported out of the Philippines, but this musically violation might actually get you killed. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today's video, we are going to talk about the 15 things that you should not do in the Philippines. Whether you already here in the Philippines or you have any plan to come here. Without further ado, let's begin. Traveling to the Philippines can feel like unlocking the gates to a secret paradise. Unspoiled island, sky-high mountains, lush forests, teeming wildlife, and colorful festivals. But while this vast and diverse archipelago has foreigners constantly flying back for more, there are social behaviors and cultural norms you should be cautious not to go against. It is more than just an exciting Instagram-worthy experience. It's one you will always learn from. But there are simply some things that are more than just helpful to learn beforehand. These are the things that will save you from the possibility of outright insulting someone or ending up on the wrong side of town. Here's what not to do when visiting in the Philippines. Don't go without prior research. The Philippines is one of those countries many people assume is unsafe due to how it's portrayed in the media. It's important to remember that the media tend to magnify the extremes and attention-grabbing events, while there are places in the country best avoided by tourists to be on the safe side, like certain provinces and Mindanao. As long as you travel smartly, taking common precautions, you should be perfectly fine elsewhere in the archipelago. Prior research will help you decide where to go, what to do, and for those whose cultures are extremely different from that of Filipinos. It also won't hurt to know a few Filipino words to exchange with the locals. G love to hear visitors trying to speak their language. And again, don't get offended if they respond with their laughter. This is an indication of amusement. Don't expect everything to be super cheap. The Philippines may be one of the more budget-friendly destinations in Asia, but that doesn't mean everything is cheap. As the saying goes, nothing in life is ever free. While the Philippines may be a developing country and the cost of living is significantly lower, the price of restaurants, electronics, and imported luxury goods in some parts of Metro Manila might surprise you. Yes, the Philippines is a much cheaper country than the US or many of those in Europe. But don't assume you're being cheated just because you're being charged a bit more than just what you hope for. To avoid a heated exchange with a store owner or a pedicab driver, the best way to go about things is by firmly agreeing on a price beforehand. If they insist on an amount you wouldn't be happy to pay, simply walk away. When bargaining, please pleasantly make your offers, and if you're not happy with theirs, politely decline. Remember, while you're trying to make a good buy on your end, they are making a living on others. Traveling without money. The Philippines is one of the budget-friendly destinations in the world. Here, you can enjoy a meal for only $1. You can even buy a bottle of rum for $1. Yet, if you rank Southeast Asian countries by a cost of travel, it is still on the expensive side. Yes, it's cheaper than Singapore, but it is pricier than, say, Thailand, Laos, or Cambodia. Hence, you should be prepared financially if you travel to the Philippines or anywhere. In many Asian countries, big packers have become a thing, and it is generally frowned upon. It's still not yet an issue in the Philippines, but don't make it one. The Philippines is a country where there are not a lot of opportunities for the locals themselves. So contribute to the local economy when you can. Don't show off your wealth. The Philippines has serious problems with poverty. There is relatively little violent crime aimed to foreigners. But if you head out into dark alleys, bandying your new camera and iPhone, don't be shocked if you got robbed. But to summarize, enjoy yourself, embrace local culture, and have a good time because the Philippines truly is an amazing place. Never force your Pinoy friends to pay for a meal that you were supposed to cover. Another important distinction, know that when you offer to take your group of Pinoy friends out to a restaurant for a meal together, you are silently agreeing to pay for the bill unless you specify that your social gathering is kanya-kanyang bayad, meaning that everyone pays for their own food. You are giving your friends reason if you mislead your friends into thinking you're treating them to a nice meal when you don't plan to. That's a huge no-no. Don't expect everyone to speak English perfectly. If you're surprised by the numbers of Filipinos who can express themselves smoothly and confidently in English, you shouldn't be. After all, the Philippines was colonized by the United States of America for almost 50 years, resulting in the English language being widely taught in schools around the country. That said, you shouldn't expect everyone to speak flawless English anywhere you go. While English may be dominant language used for business, it's still not the mother tongue and not every Filipino can speak this second language fluently. That's where a little knowledge of Filipino comes in handy. Don't arrive on time. At least to casual gatherings, Filipinos are notorious for adhering to something called Filipino time, which refers to anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour long delay on the clock. So Filipino events will almost always start at least a few minutes late. Many are trying to get rid of this stereotype and formal gatherings are much more likely to begin on schedule. But don't be surprised when your Filipino friends are only leaving their homes by the time you've gotten your meeting place. Don't forget to immerse yourself in the culture and make new friends. Speaking as someone who lives in the Philippines, you could spend a lifetime in the country and still not run out of things to do. Many foreigners who intend just to spend a few days in the romantic coast of El Nido or chase a Wesam surf bricks in Siargao eventually find themselves falling in love with a place, wishing they could leave their lives behind to stay here just a little longer. At the end of the day, it's Filipinos who are responsible for giving the country its life, hope, and color. Any cultural differences shouldn't deter you from traveling to the Philippines because it's filled with people who are warm hearted as they are giving. Avoid confrontation and coming off too strong. Filipinos are very non-confrontational and are rather timid bunch when it comes to people we just met. So should a problem arise, try not to lose your temper and remain calm and pleasant. Filipinos are generally very friendly. When meeting to locals, be friendly. Filipinos are generally very friendly, but avoid being cocky and intrusive. It's also important to note that Filipinos are quite indirect and will avoid giving an outright, just like no, at all costs, as they fear it could come off offensive. This might be a bit frustrating to a foreigner, especially when trying to set up a gathering or extending an invitation. But the Filipino way of saying no can come in the form of phrases like, well, see, I'm not sure, I'll try to make it, but don't get offended too easily. Filipinos get offended and immediately declare persona non grata. Everyone else isn't allowed to. The thing is that Filipinos are most very happy, fun loving people. However, their sense of humor might not always fit in yours. As opposed to dry humor, Filipinos usually enjoy a more slapstick, situational, silly kind of humor. In a circumstance where a local imitates your accent and proceeds to laugh, this isn't a form of mockery, but simply a good natured joke, expressing amusement over something different. It might become annoying to some, but just remember, if ever, done out of spite. Don't insult the country or its people. First and foremost, it should go without saying that you shouldn't insult your host country. But the Philippines is a bit of a special case. Filipinos are proud of anything and everything. This is why Filipino pride is a thing. So to say anything that could offend them or the country could be a huge blunder. They tend to be very protective of their country and people. So the slightest criticisms could be taken the wrong way. In addition, don't bring up religion. At least during casual conversation, try to avoid getting into a discussion on religion. The Philippines is a significantly Catholic nation, especially those of the older generations are very vicious. In fact, in the Philippines, divorce is legal. And the use of sexual contraception is still largely frowned upon. Some things the younger generations are trying to change. So, in the attempt to not upset a tita or a lola, or even a mother, probably be best to reserve the autism talk for another tip. Don't drive in Manila unless absolutely necessary. Instead of sharing the road, driving in Manila feels like Darwin's survival of the fittest. Not only it is a challenge maneuvering through the metro's complicated roads, the difficulty is up a level by having to compete with the jeepneys that pulled over without warning, and the huge buses that swerve carelessly, expecting other motorists to automatically give way. The extreme road congestions and ceaseless rush hour traffic don't help so much either. So unless you absolutely must, you'll be best off leaving the driving to Uber. Don't let the bizarre sounding food scare you. This will almost always apply to food. On the one hand, Filipinos are food aficionados. They love to eat, and food is a huge part of their culture. And on the other, they are fantastic cooks who don't let anything to go to waste. So brace yourself for dishes made for animal parts you never considered edible. You'll be in the land of chopped up pig's face on a sizzling plate. We call that one sisig. Hard boiled duck, embryo, or what we call balut, and grilled chicken intestine on a stick isaw. If you're the type to get squeamish quite easily, you might be better off not asking what something is. Just try it, and should it not suit your fancy, simply don't have it again. But do try to step out of your comfort zone. This is the perfect place to channel your more adventurous side. Joining rallies is illegal if you're a foreigner. For your own safety, steer clear of participating in any protest during your stay in the Philippines. In this press release, the Bureau of Immigration or BI states that all foreign nationals are prohibited from participating in political rallies and mass demonstration. Taking part in a political assembly or gathering, be it or against the government, will be considered as meddling in our internal affairs as sovereign nation. According to Bureau of Immigration Commissioner J. Morente, we caution against joining any protests in the country or you risk getting blacklisted or deported. Never attempt to sing My Way in karaoke bars. One of the things you must never do in the Philippines is attempt to sing a classic song by Frank Sinatra. At least a dozen karaoke-related murders have taken place in bars across the Philippines from 2002 to 2012. And Dio led back to the same crime, singing Sinatra's My Way Out of June. Joining a rally can get you deported out of the Philippines, but this musically violation might actually get you killed. This song has historically proven to be so fatal that bargoers will not let you finish it. Their fist flying as soon as it's selected on the karaoke machine. Thank you so much guys for watching my entire video, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, don't forget to press the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you would be notified on my next video. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to leave your thoughts about our topic for today and, of course, your comment and experience about the Philippines. This is Filipina Elated again. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope that I will see you soon next time. Goodbye.